you can still find happiness even in the midst of getting news that you have cancers. Get those good vibrations. Hi, and welcome to the second episode of the Go Live Your Life podcast. I initially wanted to start this podcast to help people and inspire people dealing with debilitating health issues like fibromyalgia syndrome or chronic fatigue syndrome to go out and live their life. I still go out and snowboard and mountain bike and paddleboard and do all sorts of sports. And what I did was I just took control of my health and figured out what meds I needed, what supplements I needed, just to help myself feel better. And anything else, any holistic thing I could do, even if it's just going to the chiropractor to help my neck and back issues, because along with the fibromyalgia, as you know, you get the IBS, the GERD, the allergies. I've had surgery on my sinuses and ears and all sorts of things. But in the first episode, I did share that along with all these issues I already have, I found out on March 20th, 2024, that I have adenocarcinoma endometrial cancer. I just want to help inspire people and take people on this journey to just still live their life. And you can still find happiness even in the midst of all of this. And, getting news that you have cancer is not like the best news, right? But it still didn't deter me from still feeling appreciative of the life I have and grateful for the life that I have. It was actually on Monday, I had April 1st, I had a biopsy for my cervix. So I needed a biopsy for my cervix because in my pap smear, they did find abnormalities, or I guess it came back abnormal. And so I needed to do a biopsy on that. But my biopsy for my uterus came back first. And with the ultrasound that they initially did, they found that it was 30. They found that my uterine lining was 30 millimeters, which is absolutely not normal. Hence why the biopsy was ordered on the uterus and how I found out that I had endometrial cancer. So today was my first day visiting the oncologist. My wonderful husband accompanied me, and he says that he insists on coming with me to every appointment, and which is awesome that he is so supportive. And so is his workplace. And thankfully, his workplace has been very supportive. And ironically, he is actually a scientist, and he works with a bunch of scientists who discover mostly cancer drugs. He's an antibody discovery. So it's ironic that he has a wife who now has cancer. And so today we went to the appointment. I finally got to see my doctor at City of Hope. She went over the biopsy info because I didn't really get the specifics on it. I guess initially there's a grade. So grade is different from stage, is what I found out. So the grade of the cancer that I have is a grade 3, which is very aggressive. And of course, the immediate thing is to do surgery and basically do a full hysterectomy and get everything removed. And I need that out, get it out. Although I did lose a gallbladder already, so I guess just add more organs to it, right? She just kind of went over risks and, just general things about surgery. And she said that someone from her office was going to call back and get surgery scheduled for me, but she wasn't sure when surgery would be, and she was thinking more towards the end of April, beginning of May. But today, after I picked up my son from school, I get a phone call. I am so happy to say that I actually already have a date scheduled for my surgery, which is going to be on April 24th, Wednesday at 10:30 in the morning. So I'm really excited about it because I just want this dang thing out. On a good note, my doctor said, the gynecologist said that on the CT scan, they didn't see anything with the lymph nodes. So that's a plus, and that's a good thing. The lymph nodes aren't affected as far as she can see on the CT scan, because I don't know if you saw the first episode, but I also had a CT scan because I was having really intense stomach pains. I also see my rheumatologist because I needed medication, but I was also telling him about the intense stomach pains I was having. So initially I was having just pelvic pain, but then I was having stomach pain on the left side, and that's why he ordered the CT scan. So that's the CT scan that the oncologist was also looking at, because she was going to order one anyway of the abdomen. So it was just coincidental that my rheumatologist ordered that because he thought I had diverticulitis. And now, looking back, I wish it was just that and not cancer. He said she was going to make a small incision above my vagina. She was going to make a small incision there. And then in a few other places, she's going to remove everything vaginally, which is interesting. But I guess it makes sense because babies come out of there. So she's going to pull the whole thing out, like the uterus, the ovaries, and the cervix and everything. And it was so funny because I had a question about, okay, well then, like, what happens after that? Is this like, I mean, has it close up or whatever? So I guess they suture it. And I had concerns about like organs moving around because I don't know, right? She said, no, muscles, keep everything where it needs to be. So that was funny to me that I had that question, because I'm like, is there going to be like a never ending hole in there? But anyway, yeah. In surgery, she'll get samples from the lymph nodes and she'll take a look around, and, hopefully everything's okay. And hopefully it's just removing this thing, and that's that. Now, in the meantime, I also have to see a urology oncologist because I also have a lesion on my bladder. They can kind of coordinate whatever it is that needs to happen, because, hopefully, I don't know if he'll look at my bladder prior to surgery or during surgery, or I have no idea yet, like what the deal is. I guess post-op, it should take about 2 to 4 weeks. What they explained to me was post-op wasn't going to take too long to recover because it was going to be done robotically. And I guess my sister, she had a hysterectomy actually not that long ago, and she had fibroid issues. So she had a hysterectomy, but her recovery took longer. And that's because they tried to do it robotically, but her fibroids were so huge that they had to cut her open. And so I guess that's why her recovery was longer. I am obsessed with snowboarding, and I'm so happy that I'm going to get a few more sessions in before my surgery. And, at least this is happening towards the end of snowboarding season, because I would have been really sad if I couldn't go snowboarding most of the season because, of having surgery or whatever. So it kind of turned out, I mean, it's not good that I have cancer, but it's great that it's happening towards the end of the season. So yes, I intend on putting in a few more sessions before all that snow melts. And last week we had gotten a lot of snow, so we got dumped on, and it was great. As far as the fibromyalgia goes, what I did was, there's this great book that I read, and I highly suggest that you guys pick this book up. It's called From Fatigue to Fantastic, and you can get it on Amazon. And that book was kind of life-changing for me, because it went through so many of the different symptoms that we experience, those who have these issues. So it kind of goes through step by step, like, oh, do you have this symptom, that symptom? And it kind of helps you and guides you on what supplements you can take. And this particular doctor, he's all for doing things holistically, naturally, if it works for you and you can find the supplement. He will go to that first before, using Western medicine. I use both to help me manage my symptoms and manage my life. The reason why I'm able to do so, I mean, obviously it took years for me to figure out, what my body needed so that I could go snowboarding and could do all these activities, because I know that people who struggle with this condition, with fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue syndrome, a lot of times you just are really down and kind of wonder if all this pain is going to end. And I had a 7-month flare up where the pain just wouldn't let up, the fatigue wouldn't let up. I mean, it was madness. And all I could do was lay there. And it was a struggle to like go to social things or even commit to social things, because I never knew, if I could muster myself and get myself together and put a smile on my face and pretend everything's okay, even though I was like suffering, with pain or fatigue and just suffering inside. But, just kind of slowly but surely trying to educate myself, trying to do whatever it is that would help me feel better. That was a journey, and that took time, but I've gotten to a point where I know already, like, okay, yes, if I go snowboarding, I'm going to pay a price. I am going to get a flare out. I figured out how to get over it quickly. And really, the secret to that was just soaking in Epsom salt, for me anyway. And this is what's worked for me. So anything that I talk about is just what worked for me. And hopefully you can figure out what it is that works for you. Along with the fibromyalgia, I know you get GERD, IBS, or when you get GERD, IBS, allergies. So I have osteoarthritis as well, and neck and back problems. And the neck and back problems was long before the fibromyalgia diagnosis. And I got into a really bad car accident when I was 16. And I feel like that's kind of where everything like started. Although I didn't get an official diagnosis until I think I was 37. In my 20s, one of the many doctors that I saw tried to diagnose me with fibromyalgia. But at the time, no one had enough information about fibromyalgia, and a lot of the doctors thought it was fake and that you were faking your pain. But I did have the back and neck problems prior to the fibromyalgia symptoms. And I feel like that's kind of where it stemmed from, even though they say they don't know where it comes, like why you get it, but I feel like that's where it came from. I would suggest to go and pick up that book, From Fatigue to Fantastic. There's a plethora of information in there. Hopefully something there will help you to just pull yourself out of this, whatever flare up you're going through, because I'm sure there's many of you out there that's still going through, these flare ups and it not letting up and things like that. I have a great life. I live a great life, even though I have all these issues, and I just want other people to go out there and live their life. And that's why this podcast is called Go LYL, Go Live Your Life. Live your life. Figure out what it is you need to go and live your life. I can assure you, if you figure out what your body needs, you will feel better, and you can start to live somewhat of a normal life. And that's my hope and my wish for you. Going back to the cancer thing, I had a funny thing happen to me today, and hopefully this is a good sign. When I got back from my appointment, I have a small little library area where I can do a little work in a little desk space there. So I'm like trying to tidy up. I've just got papers all over. I've got medical stuff. So I'm trying to like put all that, all the results and things like that together, and then just trying to put away other mail and get my desk tidied up. And I had this notebook sitting on there for like the longest time. And it was just one of those things that was just kind of like sitting there. But the funny thing is I flipped the book over, and I forgot that it was a notebook, and it was like from the Hunger Games theme. But on that notebook, it said, "May the odds forever be in your favor." And it just made me pause, and it made me think. And I'm like, I hope this is a good sign that the odds are in my favor. So hopefully I get this surgery done, and it'll be just that. And then stage we won't find out until they do pathology on it. What would seem like it's dark times getting a cancer diagnosis, because it already sucks that I have fibromyalgia, right? But now with this cancer diagnosis, it's not the best of news, but I can still find joy. And I want you, if you are going through this, I still, find joy in your life and find gratitude. And it is only but by the grace of God that I am able to do that. It's where I pull my strength from, is from my faith. And whether that's your faith or not, it doesn't matter. Whatever your spiritual, if you have any spiritual faith in anything, whatever that is for you, but this is what it is for me. And I am a Christian. A lot of my strength comes from that. And so hence why I'm not fallen apart finding out the cancer diagnosis, because I have plenty to be thankful for. So, and plenty to be standing gratitude for, even in this, like, what would seem like dark times, because I don't even feel like it's a dark time. I just feel like it's just a blip on the a blip on the radar. Is that what you say? I'm just saying, but anyway, it's just a thing. I just gotta do what I gotta do and deal with it. Stay prayerful and faithful, because that's what I'm doing. As you go about life, carry with you the inspiration to live boldly, love passionately, and embrace every moment. Until next time, go out and live your life. Tinkle boy, you gonna say bye? Say bye-bye? Right here. See? Look at the camera. Come here. Put your face here. And then look. See? Look here. Look right there. Do you see me? Leave it. Leave it. Stop. Side note, the brain fog was really bad today, so hopefully my message comes across okay. Oh, I don't know if it was just like the long day of going out to the appointment and whatnot, but anyway, brain fog. Gotta get those good vibrations.